Hello, good morning, good evening, and welcome to Bigg World Cinema. Without further ado, we'll continue with what you're here for. And to ensure this channel survives, please don't skip the ads. Thank you.
Hey guys! Welcome to our vlog.
Okay, before I start, I need to make a disclaimer, as I normally get abuse in the comment section saying, if you don't like it, clear off back to your own country and date a Western woman your own age. This is just my opinion. I'm not going back to Blighty as it's too cold there. So chill, fellow granddads. Sit back and relax. Filipinas are loving, caring, devoting, fun, loyal. They make great girlfriends, wives, mothers and daughters. Are dedicated to their families. The family means everything to them. Apart from out on the street where they're not keen on a public show of affection, inside your home they'll constantly be affectionate with you. Right, that's the positive stuff out the way. Filipinas are needy and clingy and like to be permanently glued to your side. She will not let you have me time, which she can't understand, as according to one of my commenters, me time is a Western concept that Filipinas don't understand. Why would you ever need to be alone when you've got a loving, caring, devoting Filipina on hand 24/7? The only space you'll get is when you go for a dump, and then she'll want to hold the bum gun. Communication plays a huge role in a relationship, no matter how big the age gap. You can both be 50, but if you can't communicate with each other, there's no point. Communication with Filipinas is often frustrating. They're not original thinkers. A lot of the exchanges are banal, trivial and repetitive. If she's not physically with you, get used to her constant texting or asking if you've had your tea yet. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, then at 5 o'clock. Or, what are you doing? 200 times a day. It's like they've been taught at high school how to talk like a parrot with your boyfriend. Yes, I know we're from a different culture, era and interests. So what do I expect? But you'll be pulling out what little hair remains on your head, wishing you could have a proper conversation about the meaning of life. Filipinas will assume the answer without asking you. She knows the answer before she asks the question. Actually, she's not even bothering to ask the question, as she's made her mind up anyway. The answer is 42, apparently. When the topic does eventually come up in conversation, you tell her that the answer is 50. No, it's not. It's 42, she says. No matter how much you try to convince her, tell her the actual facts, that the answer can only be 50, she doesn't believe you. Because the answer she wants to hear is 42. This is called bashing your head against a wall, even though your revelations, comments and reasoning are truthful and honest. It doesn't matter. You can tell her over and over that she's wrong, and you'll get more and more frustrated and painfully irritated. But you're wasting your breath. Your words will fall on stony ground. She's stubborn. She will not believe you. She cannot be told. The answer is 42. It's as if you're trying to convince her you can walk on water. Many Filipinas are shy, sensitive and insecure. You need to choose your words carefully. They hear everything you ask as a loaded question. Sure, they may be shy and simple, but they overanalyze everything. Asking an innocent question is often taken the wrong way. Do you prefer living in Cebu or where you're from, in Bohol? Why? Do you want me to go back to live in Bohol? I don't think Filipinas get humour, It's funny as you see Filipinas laughing all the time, but they don't really get sarcasm or irony. They only really get slapstick comedy like Mr. Bean, so you need to tread carefully. Don't try and make a joke that will be easily understood by women in your own culture, as it won't be by Filipinas. You often need the patience of a gynecologist whilst chatting with Filipinas. If you crack what you think is something amusing, get ready to say, "Only kidding," immediately afterwards. I often think that silence is the best policy rather than words being taken out of context or taken too seriously. She'll say her family is everything, but actually her phone is her best friend. Good luck trying to wrestle that from her. She'll sleep with it in her hand or under the pillow. It's amazing how the smartphone is now so dominant in people's lives. Wasn't the case with the majority of viewers here. Some of you might not even use a smartphone. Yeah, it's great how people are now documenting their lives, but it's become a tad obsessive with their TikTok infatuation. Filipina time. I'm from the UK. My father would always be on time. He drummed into me from an early age that you should always be punctual. It shows consideration for others. I don't like being late. Needing to meet people on time always makes me feel anxious. I had a mate in London who was always late. He'd consider how long it should take him to get anywhere, but never actually factor in that there might be traffic or the need to wait for transport. We'd arranged to meet outside a cinema and would regularly miss the start of the film. Totally inconsiderate and very frustrating. Filipinos will tell you they're on their way, but they won't have even left home yet. They'll just be getting into the shower, so you'll be hanging around waiting for them for hours. Vlogger Gio always advised, don't leave your condo until they've almost arrived. So I'd say to whoever I was meeting, text me from the bus or jeepney when you're on the way. but they don't bother. Suddenly I'd receive a text saying, "I'm here." So I'd now need to rush to meet them. The other advice I recently read was, just settle somewhere you'd like to be and you don't mind waiting. Don't be misled by their cute exterior. Many of them say they're simple, but that's just a word that's overused. Filipinas are headstrong, stubborn. When she's upset with you, she'll shut down. One evening, my Filipina girlfriend and I were planning on going to Cebu to IT Park to eat. And getting ready, I made a joking comment about the maid ruining my new t-shirt. It was just a cheap sports t-shirt and I didn't really care. But the damage was done. "Do your own laundry in future," she said. Said she wasn't in the mood to go out now. That was it, end of. There was no discussion, just shut down. Wouldn't respond, locked me out. An hour later I managed to convince her to go out, but she walked around not wanting to be with me. I'd experienced lockdown with previous girlfriends I'd had, but this was my first time in the Philippines. Tampo they call it here. My worst nightmare. No communication. I don't know how to deal with it. I should just walk away, let them brood. But I carry the broodiness with me and I can't shake it off. And it ends up affecting my mood. But you'll also experience tampo without knowing what you've done wrong. They're upset with you, but you don't know what you've said or done to cause it. You can ask, but you'll get no reply. That's a lot worse than not knowing. It'll be so much easier if she'd just say what you've done wrong. But unfortunately, you're going to be treated as if you're a ghost for the next 3 hours. Best way of dealing with it is just disappear and leave her to swallow in her own stew. Go and meet some fellow expats for a drink and whinge about your Filipina. I didn't come to the Philippines with the intention of hanging out with other expats. But in times of COVID, when we were all locked down together in a condo in Cebu, we'd meet at the pool and exchange news and thoughts. People complain that foreigners who retire here are always complaining. If you're here living with a Filipina, I actually think it's a good idea to meet like-minded friends from the West. I came to the conclusion quite late on in life that looking for one person to fulfill all your needs is wrong. We spent years searching for the perfect soulmate and end up in a country with someone who doesn't share our background or culture. What could possibly go wrong? Sure, you've got a beautiful, loyal girlfriend, but you also need a social group you can get together with regularly, socially, to compare notes, have a laugh and let off steam. Vent your woes for a couple of hours. It's actually beneficial for you to socialise, rather than make you feel isolated here. And then enjoy the rest of your day. A lot of my early interactions with Filipinas were online. Sure, I know this is different from being with them and having a Filipina girlfriend, but I've spent many a year chatting with hundreds of Filipinas online that I've built up a pretty good picture of how their brains work. Not that I'm any closer to understanding them. I told my mate in the UK that when I'm talking to Filipinas, I need to dumb down, which he found pretty amusing, considering I was rubbish at most subjects at school, would yearly rank in the bottom 10 in my class. Our headmaster was called Killer, so you don't need much of an imagination to know what he thought about me when I'd go into his office to collect my humiliating annual school report, which basically said I was a useless waste of space. So I've got the proper credentials whilst dealing with simple women. You will hear a lot of the same expressions repeated over and over again. I'm a gold digger, not a gold digger. Love me for who I am. Age is just a number. Don't expect them to lead conversations or ask many questions of you. I'd ask, where are you from? They'd say, Philippines, obviously. Where are you? They ask. Are you in the Philippines? With living in Makati written clearly on my profile. Have you read my profile? No. Why? Is it important? What are you doing in Quezon City? I ask. I live there, they say. Student or working? Student. Not student, I'm studying the art of conversation, just student. Do you have WhatsApp? Yes. Oh gosh. On my profile I'd say, messages just saying hello will not be responded to. A girl would show interest, so I'd say, please read my profile. They'd message back saying hello. Most of these messages I'd ignore unless there was someone I was particularly attracted to, so I'd respond, did you read my profile? Yes, they respond, as the blood slowly drains from my face. If you ask 2 questions consecutively in the same message, only the last one will be answered. Our initial messages are more like an interview where I'm asking the questions all the time. I tend to give up if I've asked the first dozen questions, which have all been answered with one word, and they've asked nothing in return of me. Clearly an indication that they're not really interested. So I move on. I know how to take a hint. Here at BWC, Uncle doesn't charge a subscription fee like Auntie does, but buying us a coffee would be much appreciated. Thank you. Filipinas are hypocritical and holier than thou. They post provocative photos but don't like men being suggestive. One girl in her profile said, "Looking for someone to do blank with," followed by, "Do not send me dirty talk, I don't like naughtiness." Another girl said, "Do not call me YXES. Read the word backwards." I'm surprised they were able to write it. One Filipina I connected with on Dating Asia was 32, had a child, obviously. In one of my profile photos, I'd cropped the person sitting next to me out of the image. But part of the person sitting next to me was clearly there. She asked whether it was my girlfriend sitting beside me. I told her that I didn't have a girlfriend, that I was single. "Maybe the ex," she said. "So have you never had an ex?" I asked. She responded. "You have a child? Children?" "I do, I have an only daughter," she responded. "Great, so I guess you'd call her father your ex." "Yes." "So we're even then, but I have no kids." "I guess so." Just a quick reminder to please click the thumbs up button if you liked the video, or thumbs down button if you didn't, obviously. Thank you. "If you've dated a Filipina already, don't message me," said one. "It's okay that they've fathered 3 children from 3 different fathers, but not okay for you to have dated someone before them. How long you been in the country? You must have dated many Filipinas by now. How about you, I ask? How long have you been in the country? If you've been on this website for 6 months, don't message me," said one. Guess how long she'd been on the website? Correct, over 6 months. What one Filipina may see as humorous, another won't. One described herself as an old soul. The next girl I chatted to, I used this expression with her, which she found offensive and blocked me. So good luck with your Filipinas, everyone. Not all of you will have encountered the same scenarios that I've faced, as naturally, your Filipina is different to the rest. If you liked the video, please could you like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to ding the notification bell to see my videos before your friends. See you on the next video. Take care, everyone.